This is going to be all about educational funnels, and we're going to show you how to convert cold traffic through belief building systems. This is backed by hundreds of audits that we've done in the supplement space. We've looked at the key components from what brands that are doing a couple of million a month and what a lot of the market are doing wrong. And we're going to show you the 4 main long form conversion recipes. And we're going to walk you through the structure behind each one, plus some teardowns with examples, and why most fail even after understanding them. So the educational funnel, it's a structured flow that builds understanding before asking for a purchase. This is one of the core levers that I see all the time, where people are asking for someone to purchase before they understand it. I'm gonna show you, like, it's instead of it assuming someone already believes they need your product, it walks them through what the real problem is, why it hasn't been solved yet, what most people misunderstand, and the mechanism is your solution. It's only the solution after they've got to that point. So why they work is they open up blue oceans, they open up new markets. So again, going back to the audits and going back to seeing most of the supplement market right now is they only focus on solution and product aware buyers. And unfortunately, there's only like 1 to 5% of your market are at this stage. If you're selling magnesium, they know about the propensities, they know about the properties, they know that magnesium helps sleep or reduces cortisol. But what about the people that have got a lot of insomnia and they don't know about magnesium, for example? This is just a very stretched example. But you can see here, if you understand how to attract these people, the 20 to 30%, and even the unaware audience, that's the wrong statistic, but it's basically 70% to 95% of the market are problem aware and unaware. And this is always the case. Like, most brands are only targeting solution aware and product aware market. And eventually, once you run out of these buyers, you run into more no's. And this is a massive factor of why CPA reaches when you try to scale. So the solution is expanding the market by turning unaware and problem aware audiences into educated, ready buyers. I'm going to show you why. The riches are in market expansion. So while all the market compete for a small sliver of that 5%, 1 to 5%, there's a whole other area of market that is untouched. If you run ads to a product solution page like this, where it's very much, it goes back to the magnesium complex, that wasn't meant, but if you go run an ad and it's just about magnesium, they need to understand what it is for them to buy, and it's too small. And this is the massive opportunity for you, because nearly all brands are doing this and chasing this same small buyers. And it means that the competition is increasing day by day. Like a higher CPA, your CPMs will rise, so your cost per impressions, your profit gets squeezed because there's only a finite amount of people in this space. And yeah, like, growth becomes harder. You might have wondered, like, this is just a trivial answer, but you might be spending like 2K a day on ads. You try to move to 5K a day and your costs just tank your results. And as I said before, this is a massive opportunity because most brands are competing in this solution aware stage. It's crowded, CPA rises, CAC rises, and I've just preempted this, but this is why you try and increase your budget. You always see high CPAs. So the market you unlock, it's problem aware audiences. They're larger, they're less competitive, they've got lower resistance, and there's a way higher amount of users. And I'm going to show you examples prior post this. And this is what it feels like. It's a solution aware to the problem aware. If you can't profitably reach this audience, your brand will eventually stall, because, as I said, there's only a finite amount of people. And it's not because your product is bad, it's just the way you're positioning it. It's because your acquisition model is narrow. It lowers resistance and it builds belief before the sale. That's what you need to do. And think about it as like a Trojan horse. People don't like marketing. They don't like being sold to. They like to buy. And the problem with the product page, the solution-aware landing pages, is this: as more competitors enter the small solution-aware segment, as I said before, the conversion rates drop, CPMs drop. And if you stay in this traffic, your CPA will always rise faster than your LTV. Your scaling window will shrink. You'll get a lot of creative fatigue as well. You might think that it's just the creative, but it's because you're going in the same bucket of audiences. There's not enough people to replenish. And you'll just need more spend just to maintain revenue. And this is why you see, like, on Reddit and Twitter, like, Meta's not working. But if you've gone through our bootcamp, you're super aware, or you should be super aware, that it's the systems behind your marketing that do it. So going to the psychology of why education funnels convert, I'll show you some examples below this. But they disguise the sales process if done well. So there's no hard selling. Traditional sales pages face resistance immediately. So many times it's just the product on the left and then the title. This is just such a standard way of doing it. You'll have the product here, add to cart, yada yada. So they're meant to get the user to understand their problem before we show our solution. And as I said before, like, it's so much easier to invite or invoke emotional pressures that don't just attract impulsive purchases or people that already know about the product or the solution. It's to really focus on the other aspects that don't understand it. As well, we can control the journey and guide the reader step by step. So it removes resistance and it pre-sells the offer. Like, unlike direct product pages, people actually read long-form content because it feels interesting. If it's just a thinly veiled promotion of your product, it doesn't work. But by the time they hit the sales page, they're already warmed up. Even better, if you have your educational funnel with the checkout on that same page, they're already mentally aligned. There's less friction. So the sales page becomes confirmation, not persuasion. What this means is, like, they're warmed up for your solution. They understand the problem, and now it's like, right, okay, well, how do I alleviate this problem? So what this does, growth requires increasing efficiency. Faster than competition increases pressure. And what I mean by this, it's basically, if you are still at a smaller pocket, the pressure of the competition is going to reduce the efficiency. So it acts as a bridge to colder markets, and this is why brands that scale hard, like, think of the brands that are doing 8 to 9 figures, it softens the cold audience. It makes conversion at scale easier and more stable. It naturally attracts people who like to read and learn before buying, and we've seen that these are higher quality audience, like the higher intent, the education heavy user. They also translate to higher LTV. If they're really bought into it, you might have bought a supplement yourself and you're a little bit impulsive and you don't really know the long-term effects. Well, you can really warm them up, not just on a pricing level, but as like what it feels like after week 1, month 2, month 3, and this is just higher LTV. So it works on cold traffic because when someone lands on long form content, they slow down, they start reading, they're in information mode. It gives you space to reframe the problem, introduce the mechanism, and to build tension. And it all goes back to maybe your main marketing platforms like Facebook, TikTok. No one's there to be shopping to your solution. They're lying on the sofa, they're doing a ton of other stuff, and they're not really looking for your solution. They might have a problem at mind, but it kind of just blends in and it evokes curiosity. So yeah, like curiosity-driven hooks like the one below can pull them in. Like, see how older women everywhere are melting fat in their sleep with this simple bedtime ritual. So this is, you can maybe see just from this curiosity-driven hook why it's so much more impactful than saying, here's our supplement to lose weight. Like you need to understand like it needs warming up. We're calling out the demographic. Melting fat insinuates real results. In their sleep, invites low perceived effort on the person, and it's a high perceived pain to solve. This is why like weight loss, GLP-1 offers do so well. It's a really, really painful problem that everyone needs to know. So there's a caveat to this. It's like, if educational funnels are done wrong, it's just more friction. And this is why I get a lot of people say advertorials and listicles haven't worked for me. But when I look at these kind of, this is not the educational funnel way. We need to be more than that. And like advertorials are often just thinly veiled sales pages. Like if they're heavily branded, the product obsessed, the features first, there's no belief restructuring, and there's no mechanism, and there's no psychological journey. Like you can paint this as not working, for example, but it never had a chance in the first place. So I made a post on this maybe a month ago in our Supplement Bootcamp forum. The best way to see the top supplement programs is to look at ClickBank. It's basically, you probably know, but for people who don't know, it's one of the biggest platforms for affiliates to run traffic to some of the best offers. And what I do is I continually look at like what are the big patterns. And there's so many different things that I see and look at a good educational funnel. So I'll share some of the really good ones, but this is just a snapshot. Even a doctor assumed she was 20 years younger. They want to spend you hundreds on unnecessary skincare, but all you need is one product. So we're not focusing on the solution yet. We're focusing on like the pain point. This is a really good one as well. Is like this cold drink might trigger your prostate, and then this is a curiosity-driven hook. The actual cold drink is in proper tap water. So you can see the effects of this. Like this is reaching out to millions of Americans. It even says there, it's not just people that have a prostate issue that they know about a certain product. This is to people that are invoking curiosity, that might be getting older, they want to maintain healthy prostate. It's a very up top of awareness problem for males in their 50s. And it's basically saying that everyone is under threat. I don't like the word threat, but it's caused by poor water. And it's invoking this problem before it really, really goes to it. And like, this is how you warm up a much larger market than just going to the product page and saying, supports prostate health. Buy this, buy this. Like it focuses on the build up. So that's a really, really good one. And it's not just me saying this. These spend millions a month profitably. You can see their stats as well. They get a good top of funnel conversion rate. They've got an APV of 130 as well. This is another really successful ad, educational type page. You can see here it's super unbranded, and it's done that for a reason. Struggling to lose weight, make this 15-second trick at home every morning. It's like a blog post backed up by a doctor. The reason for this is that you don't address the root cause of the problem, and then they're going to talk about the problem, the education. They've got a video there. It doesn't need to be a video, but you can see here it's delayed gratification. And these run some really big numbers on here. Another great one that is doing millions a month in terms of ad spend is Akari as well. So it's like understanding the problem, what people have. Like for activating your metabolism, this is a certain demographic where people assume that the metabolism is really slow, etc., etc. They really, really focus on the problem, and they focus on the extracting this, and then they get to a point where they're adding bonuses, reviews, etc., etc., and then they get to the solution. And there's another one as well, is like there's really focusing on like personal stories as well. I'll just go to it now. This is more personal, and it's not in the supplement space, but it's a similar subscription type understanding. It's like the realm. So we take on personal journey from sleeplessness to blissful sleep, talk about the certain demographic. It's exactly what their avatar is wanting, 55-year-old people that are understanding like they can't get a lot of sleep. Talks in the first person. You can see here that the product isn't in yet. We're talking about long form content. And then they focus a little bit on the solution, etc., etc. But this is so much better than saying get our sleep patches. Get them for $25, get 2-month, 3-month supply. It's like so much more impactful. And if you look at the ClickBank affiliates, like some of the top 10 programs, they all go through this style. It's not a fluke that this is the way that these guys do it. So yeah, so basically like this is what we understand, that 2026 educational funnels are going to be super important. And I think just going back to it, it all focuses on this. It's to unlock this avenue. It's the avenue that most supplement brands don't even reach to. They're competing for this, and it goes back to this. Like everyone is competing for this. People who understand what your supplement is, to ones that understand they have a problem and they need warmed up. For this to actually work, it has to go a lot of it right, or else you get, as I said before, you just get more friction. What you need to do is you need to understand which beliefs must change before someone buys. So this is why some of the brands, as they go back to the prostate, they've really, really vetted what belief they understand, that old infrastructure of water is causing X's problem. So that's a belief that people must change. It's a very common belief, so that's a huge amount of the market. How those beliefs connect to your product, what your creative promises before they arrived, and what price point those beliefs can support. And yeah, this is what must happen after purchase, so trust continues. You need to understand like how fast you can test new narratives. So like I always be testing type format, and what you need to know the numbers for it to scale.